announce criminal charges and plea agreements that we have filed related to a criminal civil rights conspiracy that involved deputies with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. This conspiracy centered around an individual who's a massive cyber fraudster. Using the millions of dollars that he was able to gain through cyber fraud, he employed various people, including Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies, to act as his personal enforcers to settle scores against his enemies. This individual used the deputies to commit various criminal acts, including acts of extortion, intimidation, setting people up for arrest, and abuse of legal process to gather information on his enemies. Let me describe the conspiracy in more detail. The conspiracy revolved around a man named Adam Iza. Iza referred to himself through the term the Godfather. He was a major cyber criminal. From 2020 through 2024, he operated a scheme in which he would hack into advertising accounts with the platform Meta. Meta, as you know, advertises and provides advertising space on Facebook and Instagram. These Meta advertising accounts would sell ad space to others. Iza would take control of these accounts, sell the ad space himself, and then pocket all the proceeds. As a result, the companies that legitimately owned these accounts were charged for ad space they never used, and Meta had to refund these customers. The one who profited from all of this was Adam Iza. In fact, through this scheme, he was able to pocket approximately $37 million. Iza has agreed to plead guilty to federal charges of wire fraud and tax fraud. Meanwhile, using the millions of dollars that he was making through cyber fraud, Iza hired Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies to act as his personal bodyguards and personal enforcers. Iza had various people he viewed as enemies. He would use the deputies to go after them. In addition to the plea agreement we are announcing today involving Adam Iza, we're also filing today a plea agreement involving a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy named Saavedra. Deputy Saavedra was a deputy assigned to the Operation Safe Streets Bureau. He was also a task force officer assigned to the U.S. Marshal Service's Fugitive Task Force. As such, he had access to sensitive law enforcement databases, which he abused. When he was not on duty, Deputy Saavedra had a private security company. It was through that company that he worked for Mr. Iza. Iza kept Deputy Saavedra on his payroll to the tune of about $100,000 per month. In exchange, Saavedra staffed a team that involved off-duty deputies and others to provide security for Mr. Iza 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As I mentioned, with this conspiracy, Iza used Los Angeles Sheriff's Department deputies to target his enemies. In their plea agreements, Iza and Deputy Saavedra have admitted to numerous acts in which they deprived victims of their civil rights. Among these were the following. In August 2021, two deputies pointed their firearms at a victim in Iza's office, after which Iza forced the victim to pay him $25,000. In September 2021, Deputy Saavedra helped secure a warrant to search that victim's residence under false pretenses, concealing that he was being paid large sums of money by Iza, and that the information allegedly supporting the warrant had come from one of Iza's associates. Iza later worked with other deputies to set that victim up to be arrested, and that victim ended up spending several days in jail. In October 2021, Iza held a victim at gunpoint and forced the victim to transfer $127,000 to him. He did this while Los Angeles Department Sheriff's deputies were present at Iza's residence. Also in 2021, Deputy Saavedra falsified information in a search warrant to obtain GPS location information on another victim to locate that victim. Iza later used that information to have the victim assaulted. In addition to this incident, Deputy Saavedra would routinely unlawfully obtain confidential personal information for enemies of Iza using law enforcement databases. Doing this was contrary to Los Angeles Sheriff's Department rules and regulations. And in 2022, Deputy Saavedra created a fake search warrant to search another victim into hiring Saavedra's private security company. Both Mr. Iza and Deputy Saavedra profited handsomely from their criminal scheme. As I mentioned, Mr. Iza stole about $37 million. He lived in a house in Bel Air. When agents searched his home, they found 3 Mercedes-Benz, a Porsche, a Ferrari, as well as 2 firearms and numerous luxury items. When agents searched Saavedra's home, they found numerous luxury items, including 32 bags, 5 wallets, and 5 pairs of shoes by Louis Vuitton, and 27 pairs of shoes and 8 bags by Gucci, as well as items from Hermes and Chanel. Deputy Saavedra also had a cash money counter in his possession. Let me conclude. What we've seen in this case is very concerning. We have a massive cyber fraudster using sworn law enforcement officers as his personal enforcers to target his enemies. This type of conduct is completely unacceptable, and we will continue to work together to root out corruption and civil rights violations of all types. I want to stress, while we're announcing these 2 plea agreements in which these 2 individuals have admitted misconduct today, the investigation is very much ongoing, and we expect to have further developments to announce in the future. Now let me thank various agencies that helped us in this case. First of all, I want to thank the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and Sheriff Robert Luna. He's worked closely with us and collaborated to ensure that these deputies were brought to justice and ensure that they could not harm individuals on the street. We appreciate that collaboration. I also want to thank IRS Criminal Investigation and the Federal Bureau of Investigation for working tirelessly on this case and continuing to work on this case. They are committed to rooting out corruption and protecting our community. And finally, I'd like to thank the Assistant United States Attorneys in my office who worked so diligently on this case. That includes Assistant United States Attorneys Dan O'Brien, Jamari Buxton, and Max Cole. These attorneys, as well as all the attorneys and staff in my office, are dedicated public servants who sacrifice each and every day. I will repeat, these attorneys and staff in my office are dedicated public servants who sacrifice each and every day to do the job the right way for the people of America. Various targets in this case. We have identified various deputies who are involved in this misconduct. I will say, however, with the cooperation and collaboration of the Sheriff, Robert Luna, we've been able to ensure that those deputies are not on duty and are not on the street committing further violations.
Were they in uniform when they were doing this security work?
So in some cases, they would use their authority as Los Angeles Sheriff's deputies. They would carry firearms when they did these things. But regardless of how they were dressed, the abuse of the legal process, the abuse of the authority, using their authority as law enforcement officers to gather confidential information on individuals and enemies of Iza is completely against the law.
Would you consider the Lakewood tattooed group that's mentioned in the plea agreement to be a deputy gang?
So in the plea agreement, with regard to Deputy Saavedra, we do note that he does have a tattoo for the Lakewood station. We are not alleging that he is necessarily part of any deputy gang, and we do not allege in any way that this conduct was connected to any sort of deputy gang. I will note the investigation is ongoing. Anyone else?
Do any of the other deputies involved in this have any tattoos?
So I won't note any of the other deputies because I want to maintain the confidentiality of the ongoing investigation. Thank you very much.